What is going on? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You've heard that the Galaxy S26 Ultra is going to be more rounded than the S25 Ultra, and we're getting our first real look at what these renders are going to look like because of Ice Universe, better known as Phone Art now. It's whatever, it's his name. Anyways, S25 Ultra on the left, S26 Ultra on the right. And one of the first things that I personally notice about this is, yes, totally more rounded. The roundness makes it feel more playful, makes it look, dare I say, a little bit more modern. Dare I say it looking better? Personal opinion, obviously. I think all three of those things when I see it. I also think that it looks a lot more like an iPhone. I think it looks a lot more like a Pixel phone, and maybe even more so like a Pixel phone on the front anyway, because the Pixel phone has that little camera hole and the iPhone has a notch. So you could say that, but like when you just look at it from the front, man, it looks scarily similar to those two phones right off the bat. But it makes the look of the S25 Ultra, and I hate to say it, looks a little bit dated. And it's a great phone. I mean, that doesn't make it's a bad phone. It's not going to change or make someone want to upgrade, I think, to the S26 Ultra from the 25 Ultra just based off this look of the phone. But it is something to be like, oh, man, they're kind of copying these other companies, but at the same time, they're making it feel like a little bit more playful, a little bit more modern at the same time, at least in my eyes. The other thing I notice is the camera hole being bigger, seemingly on the S26 Ultra versus the S25 Ultra. I don't know if that's just a mess up in his render or it's actually going to be the case. May we see better photos on that front camera with better low light performance because the camera is bigger? Maybe. I'm all down for that. I'm fine with having a slightly bigger camera hole on the front if it improves the photos, improves low light, and does those two things. I'm all for that. I think that would be a great reason to do that. Beyond that, just looking at it though, you know, if you look at it really, really quickly, you might not really notice anything at all. It might be like one of those things you're like, I didn't notice anything. But you know, if you really just look at it for more than 5 seconds, you can see some changes. Like them or not, they're coming to the S26 Ultra. Now, he also made a other render right here showing off this one, and this is showing that the S26 Ultra is slightly, and these are very slight, 0.3 millimeters thicker, wider, I should say, and also taller at about, what is that, 0.6 millimeters thicker, or taller. Nothing huge, nothing that you're gonna really grab the air and be like, man, this sucks. This is way too tall and way too wide. You're not gonna say that. You won't really notice anything at all. And when you look at these, honestly, they look so similar. If anything, even though the S26 Ultra is wider, to me, it actually looks a little bit less wide than the S25 Ultra. And it could be because the S25 Ultra has that squared off look to it, whereas this is more curvy around the edges around there. You know, it's more of like a more playful, fun bounce to it. Maybe that's completely why. But if I had to pick which phone that I think looks better, I think you know where I'm going. Based off these renders, also because it has a cool wallpaper on it, I'd probably choose the S26 Ultra based off that play. Now, I know it's gonna piss a lot of you guys off saying, man, why do they have to copy Apple? Why did they do this? This pisses me off. I know you're gonna say that and it sucks, but it's what you gotta deal with. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they're seemingly jumping over to that ship. Who knows why? You can tell me in the comments. This one is super interesting as well. This is the, I could be wrong, S26 Edge, which I know it's the S26 Edge in the middle, and the S26 Ultra. Now, you can see he's got that little question mark on there for the S26 Edge. Here is the S25 Edge, and it just has a camera module. But if you look at the S26 Edge, it has a whole squared off camera module with a big open space. Looks like the flash is to the right of the lens, and then that big right space. Like, what are they going to do with that? Are they going to give us some kind of technology we're not thinking of? Is there going to be what? Some kind of sensor? Or is it just for aesthetics looks? If it's just for aesthetic looks, am I bothered by that personally? No. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, how can they make that phone thinner and lighter, but still have like a big whole camera thing sticking out on the back? My guess is it's probably going to help with wobble a little bit, because it's, instead of just having like one little piece of this camera that has something that's sticking out, the whole back is probably going to be the same measured piece. So it might have less wobble, maybe it'll have more. I don't know. But it looks like they've kept the other camera modules pretty much the same on the 26 and the 26 Ultra. But that 26 Edge, something's different about it. I didn't see it, and maybe you guys can, if I missed it, these have circles on the back. Does that mean that the phones are going to have MagSafe? I hope they do. I think they did. I don't think I'm mistaken. They used to have magnets in the back of the phones. They removed it to reduce weight and things like that. I would love it if they had it. I already have it in the cases, but sometimes you don't buy a case, or you don't want a case, and it doesn't. You want a case and it doesn't have MagSafe in it, and this would help you with that. You'd still have a magnet built into it. It wouldn't be as strong because the case would be blocking it. But if you go caseless, this is a great reason to be able to go caseless, because then you could put wireless chargers on easier that are magnetic. You can put on a MagSafe pop socket without having to have a special case for it. There's multiple reasons to have it, and I would be so for it. But out of these phones, I'm definitely most excited about the S26 Ultra. I use my 25 Edge a lot for its camera capabilities and video recording and stuff like that. But out of all the S lines, I'm definitely a 26 and Ultra boy at heart. Let me know about you guys. What are your thoughts on this in the comments down below? Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.